without having to go before the state legislature.
Where's Martin Pearson? Martin, can you explain home rule just a little bit so we'll know where we are? You're from Bob, right? Bob one, you're Bob one.
My understanding about home rule, I believe this question was asked, the city as stands now, just about do anything in any county, you gotta have statewide,
Amendment, Constitution.
Take, I believe, you have to have constitutional change in order to allow for home rule, which would allow each county or local government to make those decisions on for themselves. And, you know, in regard to the issues that only affect that county. So you'll see on the ballot a lot of times, they'll say an amendment to allow somebody in Barber County to do something. Why do we have to vote on that? Well, you know, it doesn't affect us, we don't know anything about it, yet it's still got to be on the statewide ballot. The home rule would allow each county to administer their funds and do the things they need to do that affects that county only without having to go through, you know, what county.
Now, y'all kind of all right, who would you like to answer first?
Who was the last one? Whoever was.
Wouldn't that matter to me? And I understand that. I think a county should decide what happens in a county. I don't think that I should be able to vote on what happens in Macon County. I don't have a clue what they need up there. You know, it could defeat it, or it could make something pass that you didn't want. You know, I feel like that it should go back to the county people to vote on it. That's who needs it, and I feel like we should. You know, that's like, why should we vote on? I forgot what some of those last taxes were, some kind of crazy stuff. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. When it comes up and I see it on the ballot, I normally don't even vote. I feel like I don't have a right to determine what the people in Macon County are doing. That should be done by our people in the county. Now, if it takes care of, if it's related to the whole state, yeah, we all need to vote on it. But countywide, I think it should be voted on in that county.
I think that the county should also have the right to vote on things that affect them in their county, as long as it's responsible. Responsible. What happens so many times is that they get the money to do it, they do what they want, and they don't want to be accountable for the money. Now, I got an issue with that. I got an issue with that. If there was bridges that were supposed to be repaired in Washington County back around during the time of Katrina, what happened? What happened? All right? That's the type of concern I have, because why pay twice for something that should have been done the first time?
All right, next question. Yes, ma'am. I recognize you. Would you tell us who you are?
My name is Mary Goldstein. I'm from Grove Hill, Alabama.
Well, we appreciate you being here. We welcome your question. Go right ahead.
I would like to ask, I'm going back to school. I'm from no school. When our president was running for election, he stated that he didn't think one test should determine whether a kid graduates from high school. And I don't either. Because if I think that kid has passed all of his grades, he should be able to graduate. That's not the way it is. We got this one test that determines whether a kid should go or go to jail. Now, what do y'all think about that?
Well,
But you don't have to pass all portions, you have to pass a bunch of them.
having a background both in pharmacy and in education, there are competency tests. There has to be some type of standard. When I left Alabama and went to school in Florida, I was so far behind It has taken Alabama 40 years to come up with an exit exam. 40 years. Florida had exit exam over 40 years ago. You couldn't go to college unless you passed that exam. Or you was going to some technical school. Now, when you put that in place, that raises the bar and standard of those kids having to perform in school. But it has to be a gradual process. You're preparing for that, okay? That's not something you just toss on. When we talk about competency testing, you got to have some standard. We can't keep operating at the bottom. All right? We got to aspire here. If you fall short, at least you're under you're above the curve. If you start down here to fall short, my God, you're off the map.
I can get on a soapbox about testing. Having been on the school board, I have a problem with all the testing we do in the State Department. I'm gonna be honest with you. They test those children to death.
I agree.
I read this in the ADA Journal the other day while I was sitting around. 21 days of a 10th grader's life is spent studying for the Alabama high school graduation exam. 21 days out of the 187 they're supposed to be going to school. 21 days is almost a month. They could be learning something. You know, I don't think that test is worth the paper it's written on. I'm going to be honest with you on the Alabama high school graduation. Maybe we need a test, but I don't think that's the right one. My son, when he was in the 8th grade, and this is a prime example, I just got furious, took the SAT test. All right, well, he was through with it. Well, 2 days, he did nothing. He called me to come get him from school, and I said, well, Dad, what do you want? He said, come get me. I've watched the Penguins movie till I'm sick of it. You know, I went up there, and I said, and this was before I was on the school board, this is when I was the bad parent, I guess you'd say. I said, look, you can be teaching that child how to balance a checkbook. Something useful. I don't agree with the diplomas they have in the state of Alabama. I mean, I've got a pharmacy degree. My husband had a pharmacy degree. My daughter's at Auburn right now. You know, she was meant to go to college. Daniel should be, but he didn't have to go to college if he didn't want to. He may want to learn a trade. Right now, trades are worth more than a lot of college degrees. So we need to work on the degrees that people get. Maybe we need to put kids in the college track, skill track, and another track. You know, you should not discriminate against somebody because they didn't pass Alabama high school graduation exam. There should be some type of testing, but all kids are not going to be tested in the same manner because all kids are not going to college. You know, some are going to be skilled labor. And we were talking about that again today, the workforce labor development meeting I was in. We need to train these kids. You know, there should be some level of competency, right? We know that. But the Alabama high school graduation exam may not be the perfect thing. There might be something we need to do. I think the whole testing system throughout high school, elementary, grammar needs to be changed.
I'm going to allow 2 more questions, and then we're going to close the questioning. Who has a question? Ellen has
This is
one.
kind of a follow-up to the home rule, and I know we've got 2 people on our county commission here, and I think maybe 2 more out there, and I've been covering the county commission since June the 3rd, 2006, and I know how bad county commissions need money for roads and bridges and many other things. But I have mixed feelings about home rule, and because there is not a great move on, but there is a move on to do away with the 1901 Constitution, have a constitutional convention, and rewrite it. That Constitution guarantees you 2 things that they're after, and I'll get to the question. One of them is no governing body, and that includes county commission, can raise your taxes unless you vote on it. The other one is the state of Alabama must operate with a balanced budget. And you know that the state is broke, in debt, and Lord knows what's happening in Washington, D.C. So, of course, the state of Alabama has